Good morning, students. Today our lesson is lesson 7 on unit 2, and the title is immigration or migration, immigration. Here, this is the topic for unit 2. At the end of the lesson, you are going to talk about important events in your life. You can see here two pictures. What's the difference between these two pictures? Who can tell me? What's the difference between these two pictures? What can you see on the picture on the left and the picture on the right? Kareem.
In the left, the picture, this place is very hard to live there. It's hard to
Yes,
live there
why? Because
because the the
overpopulation.
over
Because
number of people.
yes, so it's overpopulated. It's very crowded. Yes, there isn't enough space. There isn't enough place for people to live. It's not healthy place. Okay, good. What about the second picture on the picture on the right?
It's a good place to live there.
Yes, you can enjoy the nature. You can. There is open space area. You can enjoy many sea activities like swimming, diving, sailing. Okay,
And many Greenlands.
very good. Yeah. So, why do you think many people immigrate or migrate to Canada or to Australia? Here, there are some adverts on the internet that encourage young people to immigrate or migrate to Canada or to Australia. They want you to live your dreams. So, why do you think many people immigrate to Canada or Australia? Hands up, please. Yes, Shabrakhiti.
Learning new culture and language.
Good. So that they can learn new cultures and language. What else? Thank you. Yes. Hands up, please. Ismail.
To see the country buildings.
Good. Muhammad Mustafa.
To seek a better life and an opportunity to work.
Very good. Muhammad Ahmed Abdulaziz.
To live better life.
Yes, better life. Good. Thank you. Abdurrahman Ashraf.
Escape from the war.
To
Escape from the war.
escape from wars or natural disasters, right? So some people migrate to Canada or to Australia to study in Canada. They can study or they can complete their university studies there to find work. They work in Canada. They have to look for better life. Now, you are going to hear someone talking about immigrating from England to Australia. Immigrating means to travel from a place to another, maybe permanent, for a long period of time. So this person is going to talk about immigrating from England to Australia. England represents the picture on the left, as Kareem said, it's very crowded here. And the picture on the right is Australia, where there is a lot of space or green areas, the sea. Okay, look at the photographs of the left and the place she moved to. So she moved from the left to the right. Discuss these questions with a partner. Think about these questions before listening. How do you think the speaker felt when she heard that her family was moving to Australia? So the speaker heard that her family was moving to Australia. How did she feel? Did she feel surprised, astonished, afraid, frightened, happy, sad? How different do you think she found life in Australia? When she arrived Australia, how did she find life in Australia? Is life in Australia different from life in England? How? What's the difference? How has immigrating changed her life? So when she left her homeland to Australia, this it changed her life. How has immigrating changed her life? Please listen first to find the answers for these questions. Okay?
أستاذ ما فيش صوت يا أستاذ.
Okay, okay, اسماعيل.
معك ضغط.
How do you think the speaker felt when she heard that her family was moving to Australia?
أستاذ معلش
If
ما
you,
كانش
if you
فيه
didn't
صوت.
hear well, okay, you did at all, you didn't hear at all, Ismail?
خالص ما فيش صوت
What
خالص.
about
في
the
صوت
other students?
خالص أصلا.
What about the
ولا
other
ما فيش
students?
صوت خالص.
الصوت قاطع يا
Okay,
أستاذ.
I'm going to send you the file again, okay, through the Teams, okay, later. So, how do you think the speaker felt when she heard that her family was moving to Australia, and how different do you think she found life in Australia? How has immigrating changed her life? Try to guess. If you didn't hear, try to guess. How do you think the speaker felt when she heard that her family was moving to Australia? From a crowded place to a green area or a large space? Muhammad Mustafa.
Excited and happy.
Good. Amir Abdul Fattah, yes.
excited and happy نفس الكلام يا أستاذ.
Good. Okay, same answer. Right. How different do you think she found life in Australia? Life in Australia is different from England. How? How different do you think she found life in Australia? Michael.
There was more open space, more opportunity to swim, and she did better at school.
Good. So more opportunity to do some activities like swimming. She does better at school. Good. And there is a large space, open area. Good. How has immigrating changed her life? Abdurrahman Ashraf.
Her life gets better and
Gets
easier.
better. Right. Good. What is she going to do to be in the future? Abdullah Mahmoud.
She is now studying to become a doctor and loves the Australian lifestyle.
Very good. So she's studying to be a doctor and she loves the Australian lifestyle. Good. Let's see the answer here. So she was excited, she was happy, and there was more space, more opportunity to swim, and she did better at school. Here, of course, the weather is different in England than what from Australia. And she's now, as Abdullah said, she's now studying to become a doctor and loves the lifestyle of Australia. Can you hear the listening now? Can you hear the listening?
لا أستاذ ما فيش دلوقتي صوت.
ما فيش. Okay, but I'm listening. Okay.
لا أستاذ.
Okay. Now, fill in the table below with information about the speaker and her move abroad. Okay? Fill in the table below with information about the speaker and her move abroad. Then check your answers with your partner. Here, age she left England. When did she leave England? At what time? How old was she when she left England? And where she moved to and why? Where she moved to and why? Of course, she moved to Australia. And why? The length of intended stay and the actual stay. How long is she going to stay and the actual stay? Occupation, job. Her profession. She's going to be what? Okay. I can get your listening task from the teacher's guide here. I'm going to read the text so that you can listen to me. Okay. Okay, unit 2. Can you see the text now?
Yes.
Okay. I was born in the south of England, and that's where I resided for the first 12 years of my life. I attended the local school and had many friends. I really liked sports of all kinds and was especially keen on swimming. Then one day I came home from school and went into the kitchen to get myself a drink. I can remember it very clearly. It was warm and sunny, and I had a serendipitous day at school. My parents were in the kitchen engaged in deep conversation. I couldn't hear what they were saying. I remember thinking they sounded quite animated, but I didn't think too much about it. I got my drink and was about to go into the garden to take a breather. But my dad said, "Hang on a minute. We've got some news for you. You would better sit down." I sat down rather nervously. I couldn't imagine what my dad was going to say. I've been offered a job in Perth in Australia and I've decided to take it. It's for 3 years, but if we like Australia, we may decide to stay. I couldn't believe it. Australia, I'd seen films, I'd seen films and television programs set in Australia, and I'd always wanted to go there for a holiday. But to go for 3 years, that was fantastic. I'll never forget it. That day, I'll never forget that day. We left 2 months later and arrived in Perth after a long and arduous flight. The house we were renting was a single-story building about 500 meters from the beach. The first thing that struck me was how much open space there was around the house, and the weather, of course. Of course, I went swimming every day, sometimes spent the whole day at the beach. The local children were very welcoming, and by the time I started school, I'd made lots of friends. I actually did better at school than I had done in England. That was 6 years ago. I am in my first semester at university now. I'm training to be a doctor. We've never went back to England to live, though we have been for holidays. I just love everything about life in Australia, but of course, I'm still English, and I keep in regular touch with all my English friends. Okay, is that clear? Now, let's see. Age she left England. Abdullah Mahmoud.
معك أستاذ.
Yes, Abdullah.
Age she left England 12.
Let's see. So she was 12 years old. Okay, where she moved to and why? Ismail?
She traveled to Australia because her father was offered a job there.
Yes. So she moved to birth in Australia, and because her dad was offered jobs here. Thank you, Ismail. Michael, length of intended stay and actual stay. Ismail, sorry, Michael.
They intended to stay for 3 years, but they actually stayed for 6 years.
Excellent, Michael. 3 years, 6 years. Occupation. Shabrakhiti.
A student doctor.
Yes, student doctor. So she's studying at university to be a doctor. Good. Okay. Now, look at the incomplete mini dialogue below. Complete it with a partner. They are talking about moving abroad. Moving abroad or migration has some advantages and disadvantages. Here, you are going to complete these parts of the mini dialogue. What do you think are the advantages of moving abroad? Well, I think, what about you? I believe, do you think there are no disadvantages? Oh, yes, there are. Okay, I agree. Okay, I disagree. I'll give you 1 minute to think about completing this dialogue, the advantages and disadvantages of moving abroad. Think. Listen to your names, please. Ismail, Osama. Ismail,
Yes.
Osama.
Yes.
أمير عبد الفتاح.
Yes.
حسن حسين. رفعت.
Yes.
عبد الرحمن عبد اللطيف. عبد الرحمن محمد.
Yes موجود موجود.
ما طلبتش ليه عبد الرحمن؟ اوكي. عبد الرحمن اشرف.
والله
عبد الرحمن عزت.
معك يا أستاذ.
عبد الله محمود. عمر ابراهيم.
موجود.
نعم.
عمر علاء. يس.
نعم.
شبغيتي. كريم. مايكل. محمد
نعم.
احمد عبد العزيز.
Yes.
محمد مصطفى.
نعم.
اوكي. محمود محمد. الجوهري.
موجود يا أستاذ.
يوسف اسامه.
موجود يا أستاذ.
يوسف عادل.
موجود.
عبد العزيز عبد الرحمن. رشيدي.
نعم. نعم.
اوكي. Who can answer these questions? عبد الله محمود.
معك يا أستاذ.
Yes, عبد الله.
What do you think are the advantage of moving abroad? أجاوب؟
Yes.
ماشي. Freedom isn't as forward as it is name may imply.
Yes. Thank you. كريم.
You're welcome.
Well, أكمل يا أستاذ ولا أقول
Yes.
أقول
What do
إجابة
you
تانية؟
think? Do you have other disadvantages of moving abroad?
Yes. I think it offers us a better life conditions.
Very good. Well, I think, what about you? So these are the advantages. Let's see. The first one, job opportunities and good weather are the most important advantages of moving abroad. So these are some of the advantages of moving abroad. It's easier to get a good job, and you can enjoy the fine weather there. What about you? I believe Muhammad Mustafa.
I believe that the best way to seek a better life is to immigrate to another country.
Yes, thank you. Abdurrahman Ashraf.
I believe moving abroad gives us a chance for studying in better university.
Studying at better universities. Good. Shabrakhiti.
I believe getting good education.
Good. You can get better education. Good. So that I believe that better public services and getting good education are the most important advantages of moving abroad. So he added more advantages. The first one mentioned two advantages: job opportunities and good weather. And the second one mentioned better public services and getting good education. Do you think there are no disadvantages? Oh, yes, there are. Do you think there are no disadvantages? Oh, yes, there are. Michael.
Moving abroad can be very unsettling, and you will be away from your families and friends.
Yes, you will be away from family and friends. Good. What about Ismail?
I think it's there is a lot of disadvantages, like you'll leave your family and your country behind you.
Good. So you will feel homesick, or the feeling of homesickness, الحنين الوطن. So here, there are so many disadvantages such as feeling homesick and losing cultural identity. فقدان الهوية الثقافية. Losing cultural identity. So these are some of the disadvantages of moving abroad, feeling homesick and losing cultural identity. Okay, I agree. Or you disagree? Who can complete? Kareem.
I agree, and I think also migration. If you migrate, you may have communication difficulties.
You will have communication or difference in communication. Yeah, thank you, Abdullah Mahmoud. You agree or disagree?
سامعني يا أستاذ هيك؟
Yes, Abdullah. Yeah.
I agree.
Would you like to add something more? Okay. So
No.
I agree with you. Okay. Now let's summarize the dialogue into this table. Advantages of studying abroad. If you are going to study abroad in a foreign country, the pleasure of traveling, knowing new cultures, learning a new language, having new experience, gaining independence and responsibility. So if you decide to study abroad outside your country, there are some advantages of studying abroad to complete your studies in university. You will know new cultures, you will learn a new language, and you will have the pleasure of traveling. You will meet new places or enjoy visiting places. You will have new experience and you will gain independence. So you will depend on yourself, and you will have the responsibility to take responsibility. It means you do everything by yourself. But studying abroad has some disadvantages. What are the disadvantages of studying abroad? You will be away from your family and friends. Of course, you will feel homesick. And long distance travel, it will take a long time to travel from your country to Russia or Australia or Canada if you want to study in the USA. So it's a long distance travel. Spending too much money, of course, it will be very expensive. To study abroad, it will be too much expensive. And homesickness and feeling lonely, of course, it's not easy to find someone to study with or to live with in a foreign country. So you will feel homesickness and feeling lonely. Some countries are not safe. You will not feel secure in these places. So some countries are not safe. You might be injured or killed or have an accident, etc. And difficulty to cope with the new culture, to adapt with the new culture. صعب تتكيف أو تتأقلم مع new culture، ثقافة جديدة. Difficult coping with the new culture. So these are some of the disadvantages. Abdullah Mahmoud, would you like to add something more?
No.
All right, lower your hand, please. Lower your hand. Let's revise the new vocabulary that you heard in the, or listened to in the listening task. Reside, 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 reside. Reside is a verb. Resident is someone who reside, who lives. Resident. Residence is a noun. Nancy, who's a British girl, lived with her parents in a small house. They resided in South England. They lived in South England. Reside. Animated, animated, animated. The energetic girl decided to go to the forest with her relatives last weekend. She was so lively and animated, animated, energetic, lively. These are the same meaning. They are synonyms. Animated, lively, energetic. Strenuous, 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 strenuous. It was a sunny, warm day. They were exhausted because the trip needed a lot of effort and strength. It was really a strenuous day, an exhausting day, a tiring day, tiring, strenuous. The girl and her relatives were tired and began to behave unconsciously. They were talking nervously, nervously, nervously. Take a breather, take a breather, take a breather. She really needed to take a brief pause for rest. She decided to walk alone to take a breather, to have a rest in the lovely nature. Take a breather, to take a rest, to have a rest, to pause, to relax. Engage in, engage in. When she came back home, she saw her parents in the living room engaging in conversation. Don't you think that staying there for 3 years is a long time? I've been offered a job in Australia and I accepted it. We'll stay there 3 years. And the answer is, don't you think that staying there for 3 years is a long time? So the parents were engaging in conversation. They were taking part. They were talking together. Engage in. Do you think Do you think Nancy would accept it? I'm really so animated and enthusiastic to work there and earn a lot of money. Do you think Nancy would accept it or not? So they were engaging in conversation. I don't have any idea. We must tell her the news. So they told Nancy that they were traveling or moving to Australia for 3 years. So how did she feel? The girl was so happy to hear the amazing news. So she was excited. She always wanted to go to Australia. She dreamed of traveling or living in Australia. Arduous, arduous, arduous. The flight from England to Australia was difficult and needed a lot of effort and energy. They arrived in Sydney after a long, arduous flight. Tiring, strenuous, so strenuous and arduous, tiring, exhausting, describing the flight. How was the flight? Oh, it was a tiring one. It was an arduous flight. Rent, rent, to hire, rent or hire. They rented a single story house which was about 300 meters from the beach. Rent. Animated. Nancy was so animated to live in Australia and have new friends there. So let's check the new vocabulary again. Animated. It's an adjective. You can describe what? The person. Animated, describing person or people. Arduous. Arduous, describing the job, describing the flight. Arduous. engage in. This is phrasal verb. The two doctors were engaging in a conversation. They were talking together. Engage in. Nervously. Nervously. He speaks nervously to his teacher. He should apologize. Nervously. Rent. This house is for rent. You can hire it. You can pay some money to stay in it. You can rent a car, a house, etc. Reside, to live in a house or in a place. They decided to reside in Australia. Reside. Strenuous. Climbing the mountain is strenuous. It's very tiring. So arduous and strenuous have the same meaning. Tiring. We need to take a breather. We need time to relax. Okay. Do you have any questions? You are going to speak